Merriam-Webster defines an inflection point as a moment when significant change occurs or may occur. We have reached an inflection point here at Shirley Povich Field where two teams with the same record but opposite trajectories are set to play a pivotal game. The visiting Olney Cropdusters began their season with a 3-0 record but have lost 3 of their last 4. Meanwhile, the hometown Big Train dropped 3 of their first 4 before rattling off 3 in a row entering tonight. The inverse similarities don't end there. The Big Train are the hottest offense in the league, scoring a remarkable 50 runs during their 3-game win streak. Meanwhile, no team has scored fewer runs than the Cropdusters coming in, with just 11 in the past 3 games, including the losing end of the league's only shutout last night. Both teams sit just a half game behind the T-Bolts in the North Division. The winner of tonight's game will have the opportunity to vault into first place, while the loser falls to third. Welcome into the broadcast booth. My name is Elliot Brooks-Rubin. Alongside me is the eloquent Quincy Dyer. And Quincy, what's the key for the Big Train to continue their offensive hot streak tonight?
Well, they just have to stay hot with the bats. And one person that has been hitting like nobody else in the league these last 3 games, Emilio Gonzalez. He started the year 2 for 13. His batting average sort of reflected the Big Train's record. It wasn't great these last 3 games. 3 hits apiece. He's been hammering the ball.
Emilio Gonzalez has been the linchpin of the lineup as the top of the lineup has struggled, going just 1 for 15 yesterday. On the mound for the Big Train making his debut is Jack Ketchum, the younger brother of Big Train teammate Cole Ketchum. Excuse me, the older brother of Big Train teammate Cole Ketchum, who appeared last time they faced the Cropdusters in Olney, a game the Cropdusters won 10-4 all the way back on June 5th. Ketchum, the freshman out of Alabama, appeared in 4 games, put up a 27 ERA. That's 5 earned runs across 1.2 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks allowed, a 4.44 batting average against. And he is set to take on Aiden Fry, the second baseman for the Olney Cropdusters. We are underway here from Shirley Povich Field, and the first pitch from Ketchum is ball 1.
Yeah, and one thing that we've seen out of the Big Train in these last 3 games is, yes, they've been putting up incredible amounts of runs. The pitching, though, has shown up only 2 runs yesterday against, or 3 runs yesterday against the Aces, who are one of the better hitting teams in the league. We were saying this in some of the first couple games. It was just going to take a bit for some of these pitchers to get into a rhythm, and it seems like some of them have.
Yeah, pitching staff, after allowing double-digit runs in 3 of the first 4 games, have not allowed more than 8 runs since, and that was a 21-8 dominant victory over DC on Monday. 3-0 from Ketchum. Finds the zone for the first time. Cropdusters wearing the all-yellow uniforms, black outline around yellow numbers and words. Big Train in their home green with the white pants and the high green socks. The 3-1 is ball 4. The leadoff man is aboard.
Oh, they called that a strike.
Never mind. That was a late strike call.
Yeah, that pitch maybe just a little bit down and away, but definitely close to be called a strike in a 3-ball count.
So Ketchum gets the 3-1 call. It's now a full count, and he hits Aiden Fry on the payoff pitch.
Yeah, mid-80s slider ran in too much on Fry. When that pitch is working, it can be absolutely lethal, but Ketchum going to have to be able to control that one today.
Cropduster lineup is as follows. Fry leads off. Center fielder Scott hits second. Klein in left hits third. The DH Jimmy Kirk bats cleanup. Austin Stalker at first. Zakai Hawkins at short. Angel Santiago Cruz, the backstop, Parker Redden, and the right fielder is Kell. Ball 1 to Brian Scott. Went 1 for 2 against the Big Train last week. He's 3 for 10 on the season. Ketchum's 1-0. Misses away for ball 2. Struggle to find the zone early for Ketchum, who comes in with not a ton of pitching experience, just the 1.2 innings pitched at Alabama. Behind in the count 2-0, and ball's grounded right back up the middle, and a diving right cannot make the play. It's a base knock. Cropdusters have 2 aboard.
Yeah, and this was part of the story when the Cropdusters played the Big Train earlier in this season in Olney. It was a game that the Cropdusters won pretty handily, 10-4, a game they never trailed. They jumped out to a 7-1 lead early, and most of it was due to some early swinging in counts. When they were finding success at the plate, They were swinging and attacking first pitch fastballs, not trying to wait around and take too many walks, although they did take their fair share of walks in that game. A lot of their big hits were from swinging early and often.
First pitch attacked right to Corbin at second. He flips to right at short. 4-6-3 double play. And just like that, a runner is erased, and Big Train are 1 out away from getting out of the first inning.
And see, that is something that can happen to you when you commit to swinging first pitch. Sometimes the fastball runs in a little bit in on you, and you hit a jam shot to second for an easy double play. So it's something that if you really you're taking a risk, I think, when you decide to swing first pitch, because you're either going to get a get-me-over fastball or sometimes it's not the pitch you want.
Now with 2 outs, Fry is over to third, and strike 1 into the DH, Jimmy Kirk from Millersville University. He is a a Cropdusters legend. He's appeared, this is his 4th season with the Cropdusters, 1-1 count. He's appeared in 62 games in his first 3. He's hit .368 with a over 1,000 OPS, 13 doubles, 12 homers, and 60 RBI in his Cropduster career. 1-1 pitch to Kirk is outside.
I'm sure he's a guy that they're going to like having. He did not play in the first game against the Big Train in game number 2. So I'm sure this is a guy that they'd like to have. Standing very far back in the box. He's got his back foot completely on that white line.
2-1 is fouled away. Count evens at 2. Jimmy Kirk is making his season debut today. Did not appear in any of the first 7 games for the Cropdusters. Kirk has played all 4 seasons of his collegiate career at Millersville. A very loyal guy, both in the spring and in the summer. 2-2 from Ketchum. He sets, he kicks, he fires, ball 3. Full count, 2 outs. Ketchum the delivery, and it's fouled away. Jack Ketchum, the younger brother of teammate Cole Ketchum. They play at rival SEC schools. Jack Ketchum plays at the University of Alabama. Cole Ketchum at Ole Miss. The payoff pitch once again, and it's fouled away once again.
Yeah, this is a battle here between Kirk and Ketchum. You'd like to see a 0 put up in this half inning for the Big Train. The Big Train have struggled a little bit when it comes to allowing first inning runs. They've allowed 6 runs in the first inning through their first 7 games. You'd like to see a 0 here.
Full count is lined towards second. Parker Corbin goes to a slide. He makes the stop and an easy flip on to first. So the first 2 runners reach for the Cropdusters. But Jack Ketchum works out of a jam. A 4-6-3 double play. A couple of nice snags by Parker Corbin. That'll do it for the top of the first. Before the bottom of the first, we will show you a recap of yesterday's 15-3 win for the Big Train over the Alexandria Aces.
The Bethesda Big Train won 15-3 over last year's regular season Cal Ripken League champion, the Alexandria Aces, last night in Alexandria, Virginia. Obviously, the offense stayed white hot with those 15 runs, 13 hits, but the standout performer was Drew Bellis, who threw 5 dazzling frames, striking out 12, including an immaculate inning in the second.
The 0-2, swing and a miss. Drew Bellis is cruising now. Trying to strike out the side for his first time this year. He does! The breaking ball dives away from the bat of Powell.
He kicks, he deals, and he strikes out Riley Norton looking. A pair of shoes for Drew Bellis to end the 5th. 12 strikeouts in a gem from Drew Bellis.
Big Train offense got things started in the second with 3 runs, helped out by this Parker Corbin double.
The 3-2 payoff to Parker Corbin, swinging a line drive into the right center gap. That is going to get down and roll to the wall. Could be extra bases for Corbin. He's rounding first, and he's going to pull up into second. That's going to score Emilio Gonzalez, with Skaronski stopping at third. It's 2-0 Big Train.
Emilio Gonzalez helped the Big Train put up 6 runs in the 4th with this 2-run single.
And that ball is flied into right field. It's back, and it is off the wall. 2 runs will score. Gonzalez holds at first, a long single. 2 RBI. Big Train busted open. It's 8-0.
James Gladden and Trevor Orth nailed it down over the final 4 innings, giving the Big Train a 12-run win, their 3rd in a row.
game this season. 3 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 4 hits, a 1.33 whip. Has not walked a batter yet. Alex Peltier, the leadoff man, a 1-for-5 day yesterday to mar his still pretty good .304 batting average. And the 6 stolen bases park him in the leadoff spot. Ball 1 to Peltier.
Yeah, O'Bourne coming out of the University of Indianapolis. They're one of the better lower division programs. A lot of very talented baseball players in the state of Indiana do elect to go to UIndy.
The 1-0, well outside, and Peltier ahead 2-0.
Yeah, Peltier, very good start to his big train season. 4 for 13 against right-handers, hitting .308.
2-0 is low and away to Peltier. So after Ketchum started, Aiden Fry, the leadoff man for the Cropdusters, with 3-0 count. Ryan O'Bourne returns the favor to Alex Peltier.
And this is a guy you do not want to walk. He has 7 stolen bases in his last 4 games.
4-pitch walk to Alex Peltier, and the speedster is aboard to start the first inning.
And this is one of the things we talked about during the game yesterday. The big train, up until yesterday, they had trailed in every single game. In every single game until last night's game, they were down at some point, whether that be 1-0 to start the game or 3-1 after a couple innings. They were 3-3, but they had trailed in every single game. Yesterday against Alexandria, it was 9-0 by the 6th. They completely ran out in front and didn't have to deal with any trailing. So hopefully, leadoff man out after a scoreless frame, they can do the same today.
Brennan Wright sees a first pitch strike, the first one that O'Bourne has delivered. Something we've talked about as well is the Big Train only 1 first inning run this year. Their lowest scoring inning by far for the highest scoring team in the league. They've scored 78 runs on the season, which is 20 more than any other Cal Ripken League team. But that first inning has been a little bit of a black hole.
Yeah, and you design your lineup to score runs in the first inning, so it's a little shocking they've been failing to do that this year, even with the offensive success.
0-1. Line sharply into right field, a base hit. Peltier rounding second, and he will put the brakes on. So first and second, a mirror image of the top of the first. Big Train have 2 on.
Yeah, and hopefully they will be able to cash in and score first inning run and score first. I think a good decision there by Peltier to stay at second. I don't think you want to risk trying to go up to third. Kell over there on right has a good arm. I agree with pumping the brakes, putting the stop sign up, holding him at second, and let Steele hit because he has been red hot ever since he's came to Bethesda.
Steele 0 for 5 yesterday, but 4 hits in his first 2 games. 3 of them were doubles. Ball 1 to Steele. Steele manning right field today. Comes out of the University of Alabama where he hit .333 in limited appearances, just 12 at-bats. 1-0. Drops in for a strike on the outside corner. Peyton Steele tied for first in the Cal Ripken League in doubles with 3, despite only playing in 3 games.
Yeah, had 2 of them in his first game and 1 in his second game yesterday against Alexandria. The first game he was held hitless.
1-1 to Steele. Good breaking ball. Steele was way out in front.
Yeah, a lot of horizontal break there on the slider from O'Bourne. 75 miles an hour, just kind of dropped it out from underneath him.
O'Bourne ahead 1-2, looking to retire his first batter of this dangerous Big Train lineup. And he gets a swing and a miss from Peyton Steele. The 3-hitter goes down hacking, and there's 1 away.
Yeah, we talked about how the Cropdusters have one of the the lowest batting average in the league so far, but they can pitch. That is one thing that they will hang their hat on. Them and the Thunderbolts are 2 of the better pitching teams in the league. The Thunderbolts leading the division at 4-2, Big Train and Cropdusters, both just a half game back.
Pick off to Peltier. He was caught leaning, and he dives back in just barely safe.
Yeah, he is very lucky to get back in there with a hand. He had a very, very large lead over there and was caught leaning towards third. Just a little bit late on the tag was Fry, and we're going to get a warning from our base umpire towards the Cropdusters dugout.
That Cropdusters dugout did not appreciate the call and let the second base umpire know it. And he was quick to issue a warning towards the yellow-shirted dugout.
They are one of the more vocal dugouts, I will say, whether that be chirping or just cheering on their own team. That's one thing I have noticed. They do like to get rowdy. I did notice that a lot when we were in Olney for the second game of the season. Not necessarily a bad thing for a team to have a vocal dugout. It was just something I noticed.
Well, we still haven't mentioned the guy in the batter's box, Logan Panett. So far, the best hitter in the Big Train lineup, has a case for, I would say, the second best hitter in the Cal Ripken League. Jaden Brown at Gaithersburg seems to have the top spot locked up so far. Panett hit by the first pitch, and we won't get to talk much about him as he reaches to load the bases.
Yeah, he'll be sitting on first. He scored 4 runs in the game yesterday against Alexandria. Anytime you can cross the plate 4 times, good day at the office. But now, Emilio Gonzalez, who comes into this game, like we said in the open, 3 straight games with 3 hits. He could really break this game wide open, bases loaded, and a favorable matchup for him on the mound.
Gonzalez started the season 1 for 13, earned the day off. Since then, has 9 hits in 14 tries. He's hitting .393, which is good for 7th in the league. He's got 8 RBIs, 9 runs scored, just 3 strikeouts. And he is 6 for 17 with runners in scoring position. That is an average over .333. Behind 1-0, as Ryan Oborn tries to work out of a jam. Ball 1 is in the other batter's box.
Yeah, he also has RBIs in 4 consecutive plate appearances. And even a walk in this at-bat would push that up to 5.
Still looking to tap into power, just the 1 extra base hit on the year. He lines one into left field, trailing, and it gets foul. His 1 extra base hit this season did go to left field, but that one a little too much hook on it.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of pulling the ball, just hard singles through the right side of the infield. A bloop single here and there. Like he's hitting the ball hard, even though the extra base hits haven't come. He's not one to get too many cheap hits so far.
A year ago was Big Train second team all-league. With the Big Train was second team all-league. Hit .337, 2 homers, 8 doubles, and 27 driven in. Chance to pick up some ribeyes here. Behind in the count 1-2, 1 away with the bases loaded. And ball 2 up above his letters.
Yeah, and the last time you and me were on the call at home, we were talking about how he had such a good year last year, and it was a little confusing why he was off to such a slow start, and I said, you're not going to be able to keep him down for long.
And that was the start of his breakout. 2-2, and a big swing, and just a foul tip, almost handled by Redden behind the plate, but another life for Gonzalez.
Yeah, he took a hard hit there. Did Redden, the catcher, but looks like he's going to be okay, but Gonzalez, once again, putting up a big battle here against Oborn.
2-2 from Oborn. He kicks and deals. It's flown into left field. Shallow. Coming in is Klein, and he will not make the catch. Overran it. Play at third is not made. That'll be a run-scoring single from Emilio Gonzalez. Brendan Wright slides into third. Alex Peltier comes in to score. The Big Train on top 1-0.
Yeah, big major league pop-up there. Klein had to range over towards the line, and there is a little bit of wind out here today. Very humid day, 88 degrees. But that ball just kind of came back towards the line, and he overran it just a tad. And also, you'd like to see them, if you're a Cropdusters fan, get that out at third. But Santiago Cruz couldn't come up with it. You can make a case for 2 separate errors on that play.
That play scored as an E7, so no single for Gonzalez. See whether they credit with him with the RBI. The case for the RBI would be that could have been deep enough to score as a sac fly. Matt Wesley, who had the day off yesterday, steps to the plate.
I doubt they give him an RBI there. That was a very shallow fly ball. Klein had to run so far to even get close to it, and I think that's part of the reason he missed it. But I don't think they give him a sac fly RBI there.
1 run from Oborn is looped towards first, and a beautiful double play turned by Austin Stalker. A 3 unassisted. So both teams turn double plays to get out of jams, but the Big Train tack 1 up in their half. They lead 1-0. Despite the fact that we were just in the top of the second, a rousing rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game was just performed by the Capitol Quartet, a big group of older women who sang the national anthem beautifully.
Yeah, my grandmother, shout out Patricia Bell, she was in a music sorority. She's in her upper 80s and did that for a summer league team in the Chicago suburbs. So I thought they did a great job with the anthem, Elioff.
As did I. Ketchum out for his second inning of work, taking on Austin Stalker, the man who turned the unassisted double play to end the bottom of the first. He lines one into center field. Peltier coming hard, and he will not make the grab. It drops at his feet. Stalker holds up at first.
We're going to have another decision on whether that's an error or a single.
That should be a hit.
I think you give Stalker the hit on that one. Sinking line drive, Peltier. We've been talking about it at length this season, the first step and the great speed to even get close to that. I think a guy in center who's not a plus defender like Peltier is doesn't even get a glove on that ball.
Yeah, that should be scored a single. We'll get you the official verdict. Line drive deep into right field. Going back on it is Steele. At the warning track, he makes the grab. A couple of first pitch swinging from the Cropdusters.
Yeah, that's just what they do. It's just their mindset at the plate, and it worked in the first game against the Big Train, but in their last couple games, we talked about how they've struggled. I think over the course of a season, you're going to want to eventually see more pitches than swinging at the first pitch as often as they have.
Runner takes off. It's Zakai Hawkins. Or excuse me, it's Austin Stalker. Hawkins the one who lined out. And he swipes second. The play in the center field was scored in E8.
Really?
Not a scoring that I personally agree with.
I do not agree with that.
And maybe subject to change in the future. But for now, both teams put an error on the board. Wild pitch from Ketchum, and Stalker jogs over to third. So just like that, a runner 90 feet away.
Yeah, with one out here, if you're Ketchum, you'd really like to see a strikeout of Santiago Cruz here, because then it would take a hit from the 8 or 9 hitter to score Stalker from third.
2-0, bounced off himself from Angel Santiago Cruz, today's third baseman for Olney. Santiago Cruz, slow start to the season, just 1 for 10. His hit did come against the Big Train all the way back on June 5th. It was an RBI single. He did score a run. Pitched more than he hit at the University of Richmond. Bounces one to third. This will score a run. Panette cannot handle, and Santiago Cruz makes it to first.
Yeah, it's a tough play for Panette there. High chopper. He's been doing a great job at third, but it looks like they are going to rule another error on that play. So an unearned run is going to cross for the Cropdusters, and they've tied it.
Scored an E5. That will be an RBI because the run would have come home anyway. First pitch to the catcher, Parker Redden, is high.
The second inning has also not been kind to the Big Train this year. They've given up 10 runs in the second inning on the year. That's the second most, if you look at the inning-by-inning runs that they've allowed.
Quickly 2-0, so Ketchum finding a theme of falling behind hitters. Only Cropdusters, although I believe that play will be credited with an RBI, have scored 40 runs this season coming into today as a ground ball up the middle. Runner was on the move, and Corbin can't handle it. Jogging out to first, and he is punched out. Parker Redden was jogging, and the ball going all over the place. See if we can break that down for you. On the move from first was Santiago Cruz. The ground ball went to Corbin, who was standing on the bag trying to make the grab for the double play. It kicked off his glove, so Santiago Cruz safe at second. Redden was just jogging over to first. Brendan Wright picked up the ball and fired it over there and punched out Redden, which he was in disbelief of. And then Gonzalez tried to backpick at second base, and the ball ended up in left field. A wild sequence of events, and now a ground ball towards Brendan Wright, and it hops and kicks off his chest, so the third error of the inning for the Big Train. And there's runners on the corners with 2 away.
Yeah, I'm still trying to process what happened in Redden's at-bat because Corbin was standing on second, and if he would have fielded it cleanly, they would have gotten the force there. But then it kicks off his glove, and then Wright throws to first, and Redden was just walking to the base, showing absolutely no hustle or urgency at all.
He must have thought that ball ended up in the outfield. Up to the plate is the leadoff man, Aiden Fry. Standing on first, reaching on the E6, Andrew Kell, the 9-hitter, the right fielder. Fry fouls the first pitch back. It's 0-1. So Ketchum not getting any help from his defense, a defense that coming into the league was the best. Coming into today was the best in the league. Just 5 errors made the whole season. They've made 3 in 1 inning. Taking off is Kell, and he'll swipe second without a throw.
And also, I think Wright over there at short, making that throw to first, saved Corbin from what would have been a 4th error of the inning. Wright has moved to short, and I'll tell you about why that's been.
0-2, 2 outs, lines sharply, but gets foul.
Well, I'll tell you why that's been an improvement. They originally had John Martinez at short and Wright at second. Martinez nursing a little bit of a knee injury. He got hit in one of the other games. Has missed the last 2 games now, but they were 1-3 with playing Wright at second base. Since he's moved to short, Big Train yet to lose the game, 3-0.
0-2, 2 outs from Ketchum. Misses away. Aiden Fry this season has 3 hits and 12 at-bats. 2 of those hits, both of them doubles, came against the Big Train. The Big Train allowed the best offensive performance of the season by Olney, the only time they've put up double-digit runs. And it was the second worst offensive performance by Bethesda. They scored 4. Only one worse was 3 runs in a win over Silver Spring.
Yeah, the T-Bolts have really impressed on the pitching side, and that's how the Big Train got their first win of the season, just able to scrap and claw for a 3-1 win on the road.
2-2, 2 outs. Ball kicks away from Dylan Murphy. Another run will come to score, this time on a wild pitch, so another run without an RBI scored by the Cropdusters. And Jack Ketchum shaken up after the pitch. Something pulled in his elbow, and he's walking around the mound. The trainer will head out along with head coach Sal Colangelo. Ketchum looking pretty unhappy.
Yeah, you hope that this injury, if it is an injury, is nothing serious. But a rough inning for the Big Train. Three base runners getting on base via an error.
No Cropduster player credited with an RBI thus far. So no RBI given to Santiago Cruz. Cropdusters have taken the lead 2-1. Jack Ketchum upset as he walks off the mound. That'll be it for him. Hopefully he is okay. Not sure we'll be able to get you an injury update today, but possibly down the line. Big Train will bring in a relief pitcher who will have as long as they need to warm up. In the meantime, we will go to break. We will be back when we know who takes the mound. So Jack Ketchum goes down with an injury. His older brother Cole is asked to clean up the mess. Cole Ketchum, 3 years at Ole Miss, 15 appearances in 2023, did not appear in 2024, just 2 last season. Runner on third, reached on an error. 2 runs already in the inning, both unearned for the Cropdusters. Full count, 2 outs. So 1 pitch will get it done for Cole Ketchum. And it's there for strike 3. Cole Ketchum takes a while to warm up, but gets out of the inning quickly. It's a punch out, and the big train will come to bat in the bottom of the second, trailing 2-1. Ryan Oborn out for his second inning of work, this time with a lead. It's 2-1 Cropdusters after a trio of errors from the big train defense allowed 2 runs to score. Parker Corbin steps to the plate. First pitch inside to Corbin, manning second base today. Saw 5 at-bats, 6 plate appearances yesterday. Reached on 3 of them. Pair of hits and a walk, 2 RBIs. The 1-0 to Corbin, and a big swing and a miss on a breaking ball.
Yeah, just a crazy half inning for the big train. 3 errors, 2 unearned runs crossing, but only down 2-1.
And Corbin, a leadoff single to start the bottom of the second. Big train leadoff hitter has now reached in both innings, continuing a theme. They get the leadoff man on at about a 55% clip this season. Best in the league by a mile.
Yeah, and this is going to be a really huge inning for them. If they can get the lead back immediately after a 3-error inning where their pitcher gets hurt, if you can get the lead back after a crazy inning like that, it'll show that your team has some resilience and that they're ready to fight today.
Skoronsky takes ball 1 inside. Skoronsky in left today. Parker Corbin started the season hitless in his first 4 games. Since then, a 4-game hit streak, including 2 doubles and a home run. Second pitch to Skoronsky, runs in. Quickly ahead 2-0. Ryan Oborn walked a batter, hit a batter, and allowed a single in the first. The run that came in to score was unearned on an E7 that Gonzalez reached on. 2-0, Skoronsky bounced the right side. It gets through. Corbin rounding and will hold at second. Back-to-back innings where the first 2 men reach for the big train.
Yeah, they're taking a little bit of a page out of the Cropdusters hitting philosophy. A lot of first, second pitch swinging, attacking early in counts, and it's worked so far to the tune of 2 singles to start off this bottom half of the second.
2 singles, not hit incredibly hard, especially that second one from Skoronsky, but did enough to get through. Skoronsky aided by the fact that Corbin, sitting on first base, forced Austin Stalker to hold him on. If he's playing at the depth he's currently playing, as the first pitch gone after again, bounced towards Santiago Cruz, who flips the short way to second. Murphy beats out the throw to first and goes diving head first after the fact.
Yeah, hustling down the line. Love the effort there. Tripped over the bag, but did get there in time, which will move the runner to third. Corbin, now only 90 feet away from tying this game.
Big Train have gone after pitches early in this inning. They've seen just 7 pitches so far. Parker Corbin saw 3, Skoronsky saw 3, and Dylan Murphy just 1. Alex Peltier for the second time. We'll see strike 1. Reached on a 4-pitch walk last time at the plate, so the first strike he's seen today. 1 away in the Big Train in second. Peltier grounds one third base line, and that is foul. Just under the glove of Santiago Cruz. If he touches that ball, it might be fair. Instead, trickles just to the left of the third base bag.
I think he might have touched that ball, and I think that's what head coach Sal Colangelo is asking. He's out of the dugout and having some words with our plate umpire.
As Sal having a chat, not looking too pleased with that call now. Sits back at his perch at the corner of the dugout.
Yeah, Sal's one of the more mild-mannered managers out there. He's not going to get up there and scream his head off, but if he does have something to say, he will say it in a calm, respectful tone.
0-2 and a big strikeout. Alex Peltier goes down swinging, and there's 2 away in the bottom half of the second.
Yeah, and that Peltier, 3 strikeouts yesterday against Alexandria, 2 against DC. A costly one there with that tying run on third. Now it's going to take a hit from either Wright or Steele to score Corbin.
Brennan Wright with first dibs. First pitch he sees in the dirt. Ahead 1-0. Went 0 for 5 yesterday. Walked a couple times, struck out a couple times. Against Olney last Thursday. Went 3 for 4 with a hit by pitch. His best offensive output of the season. 1-0 from Wright. Taking off for second is Murphy, and he will swipe second without a throw. Strike into Wright, so count even at 1.
Yeah, Murphy, as a catcher, not one of the faster Big Train runners. He had a terrific jump off of first. He was lightning quick on his way to second. If you have that good of a jump, it doesn't really matter how fast you are.
First base now open. Should Brennan Wright earn a walk. Grounds it to first instead. Stalker, who ended the first inning with a double play, will end the second with another 3 unassisted. So Big Train get the first 2 men on, but cannot bring either around to score. They still trail 2-1. Second ups for Brian Scott, hitting in the 2-hole, manning center field for the Cropdusters. 2-1 lead off 1 hit and 3 errors made by the Big Train defense. Scott will face older brother Cole Ketchum, who came on plays Jack in the second after an injury. Goes after the first pitch, lines it towards short. Right off one hop, he throws off his back foot and nails Scott. Really nice throw from Brennan Wright.
Yeah, we mentioned how things have gone better for the Big Train defensively with moving Wright to short. And after a 3-air inning, you like to see a good defensive play like that. Had to range all the way to the tip of the outfield grass, but Wright still a very strong throw to first to get Scott, who is not a slow runner. He had some speed coming down the line.
One of those errors was charged to Wright, but he also bailed out Parker Corbin from an error. Check swing. Did he offer? He did, says the third base umpire. Wright bailed out Corbin when he tried to make a play. Standing on second base, it deflected off his glove. Wright able to pick it up and fire to first. Roan Klein, the hitter, the Utah product, behind 0-1. Strike 2 inside. Klein last time grounded into a 4-6-3 double play that helped Jack get out of a jam.
Yeah, one of 2 Utes in the starting lineup today is Zakai Hawkins, who's playing shortstop, also from Utah.
0-2 to Klein. Catch him out of the stretch. And a swing and a miss. He picks up his second strikeout. He was credited with the one when he came on to replace his younger brother. Threw just one pitch, but earns a second strikeout. That time, got all 3 strikes.
Yeah, we were talking about it. He did get the third strike on Fry to get the strikeout, and if you're a batter and you get removed in the middle of an at-bat and it's a strikeout, it's the batter who sees more pitches. But for a pitcher, you just have to get the third strike.
Yeah, whoever finishes the at-bat on the mound. So Ketchum, 2 strikeouts. First pitch fouled back from Jimmy Kirk. Kirk bounced out to second last time up. Making his season debut for Olney. 3 seasons already under his belt as member of the Cropdusters, rocking the yellow uniforms. I'd say probably the most unique look in the Cal Ripken League. A lot of blues, a lot of reds. Big Train, the only team wearing green, but only in the bright yellow.
Yeah, with blue, you got Silver Spring, Gaithersburg, the Aces, and the Grays. So I do like the unique color scheme. It's not everyone can be blue and red.
Olney's uniforms invoking the Savannah Bananas. Big hack and a miss from Kirk.
Yeah, he's ramping up the fastball into the low 90s here. That one had some zip on it. He's one of the faster throwers on the Big Train staff. Control has been a bit of an issue so far, but he can ramp it up when he needs to.
1-2, 2 outs from Ketchum. Looking for his third strikeout. And he gets it against Kirk. A foul tip into the mitt. 2 Ks for Cole Ketchum and a 1-2-3 third inning. Steele hitting in the third. Leading off the inning for the Big Train, taking on Ryan O'Born, who's through 2 innings so far. First pitch from O'Born, strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, rough last half inning for the last time at bat for the Big Train. 2 singles to lead off the inning, but then a force out, a strikeout, and a ground ball.
Peyton Steele quickly in a hole 0-2, and this is something we've talked about at times this season. The Big Train, for how well they've scored, they've still managed to strand a lot of runners. Last time they played, only 4 runs scored, 13 men left on. So far today, already 5 left on in the first 2 innings. Peyton Steele is not going to reach as he swings and misses.
Yeah, a lot of horizontal break there on the changeup from O'Born. Just dropped down and in on Steele. That's just a beautiful pitch from O'Born. Great strikeout pitch. And Steele, who's been one of the better Big Train hitters since he's came to town, 2 strikeouts today.
Logan Panett hits in all 7 games thus far. Was hit by a pitch his first time up. So extending the on-base streak to 8, still looking for that hit. 1-0 from the righty. Is in for a strike 1 at the knees.
Yeah, 323 average on the year, 667 slug, and a 1.125 OPS for Panett.
That OPS mark, 4th in the Cal Ripken League. 2-1 to Panett. Strike 2, fastball on the outside corner. Panett leads the Cal Ripken League in home runs with 3, RBIs with 12, and runs scored with 11. He's 4th in OPS. He's 2nd in slug. He's tied for 4th in stolen bases. Count runs full on Panett. Panett, 5 stolen bases on the year, 4 of them coming in a single game. Back on Monday.
He scored 3 runs against the Grays.
Full count. Panett bounces it foul.
But he's crossed the plate 7 times in the last 2 games. And not hitting out of the leadoff spot. He's hitting out of the 4 spot, which shows you how great his on-base skills are, but also how well the bottom of the order has been hitting behind him.
And specifically, Emilio Gonzalez, who we've talked about at length, stands on deck. Panett bounces another 1 foul. Logan Panett, last time against the Cropdusters, went 2 for 5, did strike out. And notably, he was in the 7 spot. Started the season in the 9 hole, hit a grand slam on opening day. Hit in the 7 spot in game 2. Since then, he's been locked into the cleanup role. And he reaches for the second time as ball 4 right over his knee.
Yeah, he's also walked at a fairly high rate as well. 3 walks on Monday against the Grays. 1 walk yesterday against the Aces.
That's his 6th walk of the season to match his 6 strikeouts and his 5 stolen bases. If he swipes one here, he'll have all 6s. Quick pickoff. Panett dives back in.
I am a fan of the quick pickoff there from O'Born because Panett just got over there. He's about to take his lead, and then, oh, there's a ball coming my way. You can catch a lot of base runners off guard with the quick move like that.
Panett, though, not fooled. Gonzalez sharply to second, picked by Fry over to short, on to first, a double play. The second time that the Cropdusters have turned 2. This one, the more natural variety. It's 4-6-3. That'll do it for the Big Train third, 2-1. No runs in the inning. I'll turn it over to Quincy on play-by-play in the top of the 4th.
set to start here from Shirley Povich Field. The visitors, the only Cropdusters, lead it 2-1 as we head to the top half of the fourth. It will be 5, 6, and 7 due up for the visitors. Austin Stalker, Zakai Hawkins, and Angel Santiago Cruz could spell alongside Eliav Brooks Rubin. It's 2-1 in favor of the Cropdusters. They scored both of those runs in the second inning, courtesy of 3 Big Train errors. It's been a rough day for them defensively, and it's been a particularly impressive day for the Cropdusters defensively. They've turned 2 double plays so far, 1 in the first and 1 in the third, which got them out of 2 potential big run scoring spots for the Big Train.
And the 1 run for the Big Train did come across on an error by the left fielder, Roan Klein.
First pitch from Cole Ketchum to Austin Stalker is a fastball that misses just low.
But outside of that miscue by the left fielder, it's been exceptional defense from the team in yellow.
Deep breath from Cole Ketchum, fires the 1-0, popped up in the air, shallowly down the left field line, giving chase as the third baseman Panetti's at the tarp, but just runs out of room as that ball's out of play. It was Jack Ketchum who started the game through 1 2/3 innings, 1 hits, 2 runs, no earned, 1 walk, no strikeouts, but then had to leave the game with an injury to his throwing elbow. And then it was his older brother Cole Ketchum who took over, got a strikeout to end the second inning and 2 strikeouts in the third. Part of a 1-2-3 inning. 1-1 the count on Austin Stalker as a fastball that's taken high.
Ketchum, for being pressed into service in a little bit of an emergency situation, has done an admirable job. Has faced 4 batters, or 3 batters and 1 pitch to the fourth, and has retired all of them.
2-1 to the Westchester product, Austin Stalker. Swing and a miss at a fastball high and outside. 2-2 now the count on Stalker.
Stalker standing at 6'4", checking in at 225. Hometown Wycombe, Pennsylvania.
Has struggled so far this year, only 1 hit in his first 11 at-bats. Ketchum looking for his 3rd strikeout in a row. This ball chopped high in the air, back to him on the mound. Whips it over to first just in time to get Stalker on the 1-3 putout. That ball kicked very high in the air. Cole Ketchum had to wait for that to come down to him, but the hard-throwing righty with a hard throw to first to get the first out.
I believe that may have hit off the plate and bounced all the way near the pitcher's mound. Ketchum fielding his position well. Stalker runs well, stole a base, came around to score back in the second, but gunned down by a step.
Zakai Hawkins, the Utah Ute, will now step in. Cole Ketchum looking to continue his emergency relief outing in style. He's retired the first 5 batters he's faced. 3 strikeouts. He's been very efficient, throwing fastballs in the low 90s. One of the faster throwers on the Big Train roster. 1-0, another deep breath comes to the plate. That fastball misses inside. He's behind in the count 2-0 to Hawkins.
And Ketchum's only other appearance this season coming against Olney last Thursday. Not nearly as effective. Gave up a hit, walked 2. 2 runs came across the plate, 1 of them earned.
He takes a big deep breath before every pitch. He has a pretty decent routine. That fastball on the inner half called a strike right on the black. Very nice location there from Ketchum. 2-1. We'll see if he tries to throw any soft stuff away. 2-1. He comes right back inside with the fastball, but that one missed. It's 3-1 to Hawkins.
Hawkins hit one hard last time out towards right field. Peyton Steele on the warning track made the grab.
3-1. Ketchum comes to the plate, lined over to short right, fields it on a hop, and it just squeaks past under his glove and into center field for what could be ruled another error or a base hit, depending on what the scorekeeper says.
I bet, given the way that this game has been scored, I'm going to guess that's ruled an error.
And it was. They do rule that an error. The second error of the game for Wright, and the Cropdusters have a 1-out base runner. 4 errors in the first 4 innings for the Big Train defensively.
It's worth noting that Stalker's line drive into center field in the second inning has officially been overturned to a single. There's some discussion by us over whether it should have been scored a single or an error. Peltier had it kick off his foot, but made a heroic effort even to get near the ball. The Cropdusters now have 2 hits. Stalker picks up 1.
And only 3 errors for the big trade now. They were sitting at 3. I thought that was 4.
And 2 of them by Brennan Wright, who was the only Big Train player coming into today with multiple errors. Had 2 of the first 5, now has 4 of the team's first 8. So has struggled defensively in the middle infield, making up for it with his bat. But
he has made some nice plays over there. Well, shortstop and second base are positions where the ball will find you a lot. Jumpy at first was Hawkins, but he goes back to the bag. Strike taken by Angel Santiago Cruz. The Richmond Spider will step back into the box and face a 1-2 from Cole Ketchum.
Last time hit a slow bouncer towards Panetta at third that went under his glove. Run came around to score. That was the second error of the game that became the first.
Off for second as Hawkins popped up foul and out of play. Santiago Cruz locked in a battle with Cole Ketchum. Santiago
Cruz, the native of Severna Park, Maryland. He's played on both sides of the ball for Richmond, went 1 for 8 with a strikeout this season, appeared 7 times on the mound, 9 innings pitched, allowed 11 earned runs.
1-2 the count. Ketchum looking for his 3rd strikeout of his emergency outing. Pickoff over to first. Hawkins is back. 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 error for the Cropdusters. 1 run, 3 hits, 3 errors for the Train. Cole Ketchum set at the belt again. Kicks and comes to the plate. Swing and a miss on the high fastball, and Santiago Cruz down on strikes.
4th strikeout for Cole Ketchum. He's retired 6 of the 7 batters he's faced. The only one he hasn't reached on an error, so no faults by Ketchum so far. Especially impressive given the emergency nature of his appearance.
The sun beginning to set behind the trees in right field as Parker Redden steps to the plate. Kick and the fire. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Again, Redden grounded one back up the middle. It was off of Corbin's glove. Right fielded it. And then the throw over to first was able to get Redden after a while. He thought he had a base hit up the middle into center. So it was just sort of jogging to first, right. Heads-up play was able to gun him down.
One of the weirder plays you'll see on a baseball field all around. Emilio Gonzalez, after that fact, tried to backpick Hawkins off of second, or Santiago Cruz off of second. Ended up throwing the ball into left field, although good backup by Skaranski meant that Santiago Cruz had to stay put. Certainly, if you're scoring that with all the deflections and touches, it would have been a 4.6386.
Yeah, that's a lot. I think what I normally do in my book is just put where the out was made.
So I put 6.3 as well, but a lot more. That's simplifying it.
Great jump from first by Hawkins, but the 1-1 is fouled away by Redden. Hawkins a little frustrated. He had that bag easily if Redden didn't swing.
Yeah, it took off maybe before Ketchum even lifted his front foot off of the dirt, and he was at second base when that ball was fouled away.
Always a little frustrating as a base stealer when you know you have a bag and your teammate fouls one back. 1-2 the count on Parker Redden. Cole Ketchum looking for strikeout number 5. Not on that pitch. The fastball misses high.
Redden, 3 years in college. Last season, 3 appearances with the University of Indianapolis. 2023, he had a redshirt season at U Delaware before moving to U Indy.
Ketchum, another deep breath, comes with the 2-2, popped up high in the air behind home plate. It will get over the press box and into the parking lot. Do you know Delaware's mascot, Eliav?
The Blue Hens. That's a layup as far as these things go.
I just think that's one of the more interesting ones.
Yeah, it's
so
a great one.
I wanted to shout that one out.
That is a great one.
I figured you knew that one. I just wanted to get that out there for everyone.
That's a good one. U Delaware nearly made a miracle run to the NCAA tournament this year.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Ketchum drops a slider in the mid-80s to get Redden swinging. It's the 5th strikeout of his outing through 2 1/3. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base as we head to the bottom of the 4th. 2-1 Cropdusters. Two to one Cropdusters as we head to the bottom half of the 4th. New pitcher to tell you about for Olney. The University of Notre Dame product, Torre Indomenico, will take the mound. For the Cropdusters, he was the starter in game number 2 when these two teams played, and he was magnificent. 3 innings, gave up 1 hit, no runs, no earned. 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. He was a force out there and has pitched well so far this year for the Cropdusters, even though that was the only game he pitched.
Yeah, that means he has pitched well, still hasn't allowed an earned run, and evidently so effective that head coach wants to use him again.
Ground ball right back to him. He will jog one over to first and give an underhand flip to Stalker to retire Matthew Wesley.
1 pitch, 1 out for Indomenico. Big Train have been attacking early in at-bats, and so far have not had a ton of success to show for it. A couple of their hits have come off first pitch, but also ground ball double play, and that time weak contact back to the pitcher from Wesley.
The starter for the Cropdusters, Ryan O'Born, 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, no earned, 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. Here's a bunt shown by Parker Corbin. He pulls it back, but the pitch was a called strike. 76-mile-an-hour backdoor slider that just clipped the low outside corner. 0-1. Corbin takes a fastball that bounces in the other batter's box.
Big Train bats uncharacteristically quiet so far. Cropdusters have had their number through 12 innings at the plate this season. But it's probably only a matter of time before these bats wake up.
Corbin check swing on a high fastball, peel down to third, no swing, says the third base umpire.
Pitch well out of the zone. Corbin thought about it, but only brought the bat head about a quarter of the way across the plate.
Corbin recorded his first extra base hit on Monday against the DC Grays, a 3-run home run that broke that game wide open. It made a 5-3 game an 8-3 game.
And that game ended up finishing 21-8. The Big Train, the 20 bomb, their high score, and the only time anyone in the Cal Ripken League this year has scored 20 or more runs in a game.
3-1, changeup taken low by Corbin for a strike. Indomenico now with a full count as the Cropdusters work with a 2-1 lead in the bottom half of the fourth. Payoff is taken low, and Corbin on for the second time today, a single in his first at-bat and a walk in his second at-bat.
Yeah, good job from Parker Corbin, who's worked a handful of walks this season. That stands as his 7th.
Yeah, he infamously started the year 0 for 13. Has found his groove as of late, but even when he was in that 0 for 13 stretch, he was getting on base via his fair share of walks. A 394 on base despite only a 182 average on the year. Josh Skoronsky now steps into the plate. He fouls off an inside fastball by Dominico for strike 1.
Skoronsky 1 for 4 with an RBI against the Cropdusters in their first meeting yesterday. 2 hits, including a 2 RBI double into the right field corner. That was just his 3rd hit with runners on base.
A 1. Skoronsky takes a fastball just down and away. He has struggled so far against left-handed pitching. He's 1 for 7.
Skoronsky, the tall left-hander himself, 6'5", out of Winthrop.
Bats left, throws right. 1-1 from Dominico, swing and a miss. A beautiful front hit breaking ball from the Notre Dame product. And Skoronsky now has to battle in a 2-strike count.
Skoronsky struck out 7 times so far this season.
1-2 from Dominico, swing and a miss. Another beautiful off-speed pitch.
And Dominico, that breaking ball just sits on the front hip of the lefty and then dives into the dirt, and it looks so appealing. But Skoronsky out in front of it a couple times, and he goes down hacking.
So now Dylan Murphy will come to the plate. Has hit lefties well so far, although only 4 at-bats, 2 for 4 he is. And Dominico comes to the plate. Called a strike on the low inside corner.
Murphy's hit everything well this year. He's had 17 plate appearances across. This is his 4th game. He's reached in 9 of them.
He switches off the catching duties with with Jacob Hawk every other game. Chops one high over to third, and Santiago Cruz cannot come up with it. It just squeaked out of his glove, and I believe that will be the 5th error of the game from both sides, and it will, Eliav.
Again, a tough play for Santiago Cruz, even if he comes up with that cleanly, but did not give himself a chance. As it hit, rolled out of his glove, and he ends up booting it towards the line. So the Big Train, for the 3rd time in 4 innings, will have 2 men aboard. A chance to score. They've stranded 5 and scored just 1 so far.
Alex Peltier up for his 3rd at-bat, has walked and struck out today. He delivers a line drive into right field, and it's down for a base hit. Windmill at third for Corbin. He's coming to the plate. The throw will come all the way through, and he is safe. He gets under the tag of Redden with a feet-first slide, and the Big Train have evened this game at 2.
Alex Peltier making me eat my words and continuing a trend for him. He's now 4 for 6 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. He's been one of the clutcher players in this Big Train lineup. And just like that, this game is tied.
Some more first pitch swinging for the Big Train. Peltier wasting no time attacking the fastball and serving up an opposite field base hit. A strong throw to the plate by Kell over there on right. We talked about how he has a good arm over there. The throw, I think, beat Corbin to the plate, but just got his foot under the tag. Brennan Wright will now work lefty-lefty against Dominico, and he takes a slider for a strike. And that's the first run the Big Train have scored against Dominico this season. In the 4th inning, they've seen him, although it was an unearned run. Line drive into shallow center. This ball is sinking, but able to range back and make the catch is Hawkins for the 3rd out. 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 runners left on base. We head to the 5th, all tied up at 2. 2-2 through 4 innings between the Big Train and Cropdusters in a game that has yet to see an earned run across the plate. 2 runs on 2 hits, 2 errors for the Cropdusters. 2 runs, 4 hits, 3 errors for the Big Train. It'll be 9-1-2 due up for the Cropdusters. Kell, Fry, and Scott. Andrew Kell will lead things off. He reached on one of those errors back in the 2nd inning. The Salisbury product takes a fastball in the inner half from Cole Ketchum for a strike.
Kell had a good season this past year at Salisbury, but his 2024 season was something to sing a song about. 444 average, 1263 OPS. He was 4th in single season on base in Salisbury history.
Grounds one to third. Panett slides to make the stop. Throw over to first is in time. So Panett, after making an error back in the 2nd inning, able to slide over, knock that ball down, keep it in front of him, recovers, and gets Kell over at first. A nice play from the Charlotte 49er.
And he's had a good glove over there for the most part. Couple of errors, couple of plays, especially the ones he comes in on that he's struggled with. But anytime the ball's hit hard in his direction, he's been able to get a glove on it, knock it down, or field it cleanly and make a strong throw over to first.
Aiden Fry will now step in. He was hit by a pitch in the first at-bat of this game. Pops one up foul and out of play over near the picnic pavilion. He struck out in his 2nd at-bat where he faced 2 different pitchers, both Ketchums, Jack and Cole. Jack Ketchum, as we've mentioned earlier, left the game after 1 2/3 innings with an elbow injury. That was during Fry's at-bat. Saw 1 pitch from Cole Ketchum, the older brother of Jack, and he took a fastball for a strike. 0-1, swing and a miss. This time, Ketchum comes with the breaking ball on the front hip at 85, and he's now down 0-2.
Yeah, Ketchum continuing a trend for the Big Train. Already 5 strikeouts for him today. The Big Train pitching staff have the most strikeouts of any pitching staff in the league. Cropdusters have the fewest.
0-2, half swing, but a full swing in the eyes of our plate umpire. Ketchum drops the changeup past Fry. That's his 6th strikeout, and there's 2 dead here in the 5th.
And notably, this is a matchup where the strikeouts should play a big factor. Only as a lineup, strike out at the highest frequency against the Big Train, who strike out hitters at the highest frequency. 6 already through 4 2/3. Meanwhile, the Big Train as a lineup strike out the fewest, and the only pitching staff strikes out the fewest. But 4 Ks through 4 innings for the Big Train.
New hitter is Brian Scott. He is 1 for 2 today. Singled in the 1st, grounded out in the 3rd.
Last time these 2 teams faced the Big Train, although they had a pretty below average offensive output for their standards, only struck out 3 times as a team.
1-0 from Ketchum to Scott. Swing and a miss. Ketchum really really dialing up the velocity on these fastballs up in the zone. And he has Scott in a 1-1 count. Another deep breath from Cole Ketchum, as he does before every pitch. Fires, fouled away by Scott. 1 strike away from a 1-2-3 inning is Ketchum.
Ketchum, you've talked about his deep breath routine before each pitch. He kisses towards the sky after each pitch. And pretty often he's towing that rubber, he's grabbing the rosin. A lot of movement out of Ketchum. He does not like to stay still.
1-2. Ketchum kicks and fires. Fastball inside for a ball. Ketchum has faced 10 batters so far. Only 1 has reached, and it was via an error. And he also has 6 strikeouts. He has been dominant coming out of the bullpen in emergency relief. He comes set and fires the 2-2. Slider misses outside, and the count has fulled up on Brian Scott.
Ketchum in danger of walking his first batter. He'll go to the rosin first before his payoff pitch. Scott, the Frostburg State product, walked and was hit by a pitch last time against Big Train. Also picked up a hit.
Payoff from Cole Ketchum. Fastball misses high, and Scott has a 2-out walk.
First batter allowed to reach by Ketchum by his own volition. The error by Brendan Wright, the only other one.
Roan Klein will now step in, grounded into a double play in the 1st inning, and Struck out in the third.
Also made an error out in left in his only opportunity, so not the day he might have liked through the first half of the game.
The lefty stands very far back in the box with his back foot completely on the white line. He takes a fastball just high for ball one. We'll see if Scott potentially tries to take second and maybe get a run in scoring position for the Cropdusters with 2 out. He has an aggressive lead at first.
1 for 2 on thefts this season.
Grounded slowly towards second. Corbin is up with it. Backhand flip to right at short. It'll be a 4-6 put out to end things. And we head to the bottom half of the 5th, still tied at 2. The middle of the big train order due up to start the bottom half of the 5th in a 2-2 game. Steele, Panett, and Gonzalez 3-4-5 will try to get the big train the lead back. They scored first in the bottom half of the first to take a 1-0 lead, surrendered 2 runs in the top half of the second. Cropdusters take the lead 2-1, but they tied the game up last time at the plate with a run in the bottom half of the 4th. That is how we have the 2-2 score. Torre and Dominico out of the University of Notre Dame still on the mound for his second inning of work. First pitch to Peyton Steele. Misses low. The lefty comes set again just above the belt. Now fires. Another fastball misses low, and Redden got hit just above the thigh.
I would say below the belt. Viewers at home can infer what we mean by that.
Yeah, that is why you wear protection down there. And it looks like he is going to be okay. He might get a pitch from Indominico, and I think that would be deserved. And it looks like he won't. Steele's back into the box.
We saw Jacob Hawk yesterday took a foul ball off the wrist behind home plate. He had to shake it off. He got 1 or 2 warm-up throws, less of a pitch and more of a throw for the catcher to test how his wrist was feeling. Stayed in the game and picked up an RBI single when he came to the plate in the top half of the next inning.
3-0 after the 2-0 missed high, and Dominico has to battle back against Steele. He comes with another slider. That one crosses for a strike. Steele, 2 strikeouts today in his first 2 at-bats. Looking to get the leadoff man on for the big train. He pops one high in the air over down the first base line. Stalker giving chase up against the netting, and he makes the catch.
Really good job by Austin Stalker, understanding where the netting was, went right up against it and got the glove high, which left less room for the ball to fall and potentially clip the netting. Had it done so, it would have been an automatic dead ball, even if he had come up with the catch. But because he attacked that ball at its apex, or as close to the apex as he could get, he's able to retire Peyton Steele.
Panett fouls one back on the first pitch from Indominico. Yeah, when you get that far, that close to the net, you do have to reach up pretty high. The opposite of that is when you're ranging to get a fly ball, you go into a feet-first slide to give the ball more time to give yourself more time to get under the ball. 0-1. Fastball down and in for a strike. 0-2 quickly on Panett. He has reached base twice. No hits, however, a hit by pitch and a walk. He has hits in his first 7 games to start this season. Grounds one to third, but foul.
Hits in his first 7 games, 3 home runs, 2 doubles among them. 5 extra base hits. Tied for the league lead with Jaden Brown.
7 for 17 against righties, only 3 of 14 against lefties. He takes high and away from Indomenico. 1-2 the count on Panett. 3 hits in the game on the 8th against the Metro Soco Braves. He chops one foul down the third base line again.
That was the last time the Big Train were at home.
Had a home run and 2 doubles in that one. Only 1 hit against DC and 1 hit against Alexandria the last 2 Big Train games. Both monstrous wins with a ton of runs. 1-2 from Indomenico. Down and in. Panett kind of flicked the wrist a little bit. Redden will ask for an appeal to first. No swing.
And maybe just 1 hit in the last 2 games, but 7 runs across the plate for Panett, who has been an on-base machine over the last few days.
2-2 swing and a miss. Panett down on strikes. That is his 7th strikeout of the year. Two dead quickly as Emilio Gonzalez will step to the plate. We talked about how he has been hot as of late. 3 hits in each of his last 3 games. No hits yet today. He's reached via an error and has grounded into a double play. He has hammered left-handed pitching, however, 8 for 14 on the year. That's a .571 average. He pops one high in the air down the third base line. Klein and Santiago Cruz both going back on it, but this ball will just land out of play into the Big Train bullpen.
Gonzalez fortunate that that ball trailed away the way it did, because all 3 Cropduster defenders were tracking that and in decent position. Ball just ended up slightly out of the reach of any of them.
0-1 on Emilio Gonzalez. Scored 3 runs yesterday against Alexandria to go with 2 RBIs. 0-1 from Indomenico, misses low. He also drew his first walk of the season against Alexandria. Gonzalez, he's a free swinger, which is not necessarily a bad thing. He goes up to the plate attacking.
Does have walks in back-to-back games, though.
Fouls one away.
That's what he's in the lineup to do, though. Last season, hit .337 with the Big Train en route to second team All-Cal Ripken League, .932 OPS, drove in 27 runs, parked in the middle of the order.
1-2 from Indomenico, grounded sharply to first, kicks off the glove of Stalker and past Fry. We'll see if that's also called an error, Eliav.
I would imagine it is, especially the way this game has been scored. And should it be, that'll be error number 6 in the game. Both teams now up to 3.
And they are going to rule it an error.
Well, Gonzalez has been on twice via the error. Once in left field, the one that scored the first run of the game for the Cropdusters back in the first. Now the lead runner with 2 away.
That ball was hit very hard on the ground for Gonzalez. Wesley now checks his swing, appeal to first, and a full swing in the eyes of our first base umpire. But Gonzalez, that's a tough play to come up, especially on the backhand if you're a first baseman, with Gonzalez hitting the ball that hard. But 3 errors for each team in this one. Backdoor slider to Wesley, catches the outer half. He's quickly down 0-2.
Wesley, the day off yesterday on Monday, had 2 extra base hits, a double and a triple in the big win over the DC Grays.
0-2, Gonzalez off for second, throw down, not in time. Gonzalez, not one of the faster Big Train runners, but again, had a great jump there. The throw from Redden came in a little high. Feet first slide from Gonzalez gets him under the tag.
And that's stolen bases in back-to-back games for Gonzalez, although his stolen base yesterday came on the heels of a double steal. where he was trailing Peyton Steele on his way to third. Still credited with the stolen base for that one. This one, a little more
That
of
one
the
he got himself.
earned variety.
He got that one himself. He's put himself in scoring position with 2 outs for Matthew Wesley, who is even in the count at 2-2 against Indominico. Driven high in the air, deep out towards left field. Klein is going back. He's running out of room, and this ball kicks off the base of the wall. Gonzalez will score from second. Wesley's easily into second. Those two swap places, and the Big Train have the lead. It's 3-2.
And another unearned run in this game. That is all 5 runs. But Wesley earned it with that line drive deep to left off the base of the wall. That's his 3rd extra base hit in his last 2 games. Matthew Wesley was hitting just .238 coming in, just 1 for 3 today, but picks up a big one, and the Big Train have the lead.
Unearned runs in back-to-back innings against Torre and Dominico for the Big Train. He delivers a fastball inside to Parker Corbin, who has reached base twice so far today. Once via a single, once via a walk. He later came around to score off that walk. Had a very nifty slide to get under the tag of the catcher Redden. That's how this game got tied up at 2-2. The Big Train now with the lead by 1. Swing and a miss. On an outside slider, the count is even at 1-1. Corbin with 2 hits yesterday to go with 2 runs and 2 RBIs and 5 at-bats. Takes down and in. He's now ahead in the count 2-1.
Corbin this season 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position, 1 for 5 with guys on second and third and 2 outs.
And Dominico looks back. Wesley at second. Now Corbin high in the air towards shallow right center. Coming in is Scott. A long run for him, but he will make the catch to retire the side. 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base. We head to the 6th. 3-2 Big Train. Three to two, the lead in favor of your Bethesda Big Train as we work into the top of the 6th. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Olney Cropdusters, Jimmy Kirk, Austin Stalker, and Zakai Hawkins. Quincy Bell alongside Eliav Brooks Rubin. Eliav, this has been a wild game so far through 5 innings.
We have had 6 errors, 5 unearned runs, a pitcher left with an injury. I've had a couple plays that I barely even know how to describe. And all in all, the Big Train holding to a tight lead.
Cole Ketchum delivers a fastball low to Jimmy Kirk, who is 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout today. Ketchum has been very efficient today, 6 strikeouts through the first 13 batters he has faced. Kicks and fires to Kirk, who waves at a slider. And the count is now 1-1.
Ketchum's thrown 67% of his pitches for strikes. 45 have left his hand. 30 have been in the zone.
Yeah, 30 balls to 15 strikes. A 2-to-1 ratio is always great when you're on the mound. 1-1. Slider misses outside. Jimmy Kirk out of Millersville University stands at 6'2", 225 pounds. He is a redshirt senior from Gilbertsville, Pennsylvania. This is his 4th season with the Olney Cropdusters. 2-1 from Cole Ketchum. Chops slowly over to third. Panette charges, fields with the glove, throws over to first in time.
That retires Mr. Cropduster. We were talking about Cropdusters as a franchise only have existed since 2021, and Jimmy Kirk's first season was 2022. He's appeared in 4 of 5 seasons in Cropdusters history.
I would have to say he is Mr. Cropduster if Olney is giving out that award at some point.
I don't know what the criteria is for getting your jersey retired for the Olney Cropdusters, but in his career, he's hit, his OPS is over 1,000. He's appeared in, this is his 63rd game with still a whole season to play. He's got 25 extra base hits and 60 RBI. If ever there was a player who meant more to an organization than the Olney Cropdusters and Jimmy Kirk, I would be surprised.
Austin Stalker now into the box. Late on the first fastball. He's behind in the count 0-1. Ketchum continues to take his deep breaths out on the mound. This fastball catches at the knees for another strike. He's looking for strikeout number 7 as he works into his 4th full inning. He got the last out of the 2nd inning after his brother Jack Ketchum left with an elbow injury. 0-2 to Austin Stalker. Popped up high in the air, foul over everything and into the parking lot.
Ketchum continuing to dot the corners in this inning. 8 strikes to just 1 ball.
0-2 as he looks for strikeout number 7. The Utah Ute, Zakai Hawkins, waits on deck. Another deep breath and another 0-2. Popped up foul again as Stalker will look to put up a battle with 2 strikes. Both these teams sit at 4-3 on the year, a half game back of the 4-2 Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts, who lead the Northern Division. The Gaithersburg Giants sit at the bottom with only 1 win at 1-6, although that win did come against the Big Train, 11-10.
Another wild game. The Big Train have been involved in some crazy outings. Opening night here at Shirley Povich was a 12-11 final. DC Grays came out victorious with a 9th inning run.
Yeah, the game against Gaithersburg and the first game against the Grays were both just back and forth games that you thought anyone could win if both those go the Big Train's way. They're sitting at 6-1, and they'd be tied for the top of the league with the Southern Maryland Senators over in the Southern Division. They're 6-1.
That's who the Big Train will take on tomorrow night here at Shirley Povich Field.
1-2 from Ketchum. Just misses downstairs, and Stalker has worked the count even after starting down 0-2. Has put up a great battle so far. 2-2. The Westchester product looking to stay alive against the Ole Miss Rebel. Kicking the fire, grounded to third. Panette cannot field it off the backhand. It kicks high off his glove and into foul territory. Stalker will try to get 2 out of it, and he will. Now, Eliav, is that error number 7?
I think it will be. And we'll see what the screen shows.
That's again a tough play going to the backhand.
They might score that a hit. That was maybe the most challenging of the errors that have been made. The most challenging, that is, to make the play. Let's see.
A lot of these errors have come,
and it is an E5.
So there will be an error on Panette, but a lot of these errors have come off of, I'm going to give these fielders the benefit of the doubt and say a lot of these errors have come off really hard hit balls.
Hard hit balls, some tough hops. Really the one that sticks out as the play that should have been made was the error from Brennan Wright, the second one. I'd say most of the other ones, you could make an argument that they could have been scored as hits.
Well, we actually had one error get overturned. Alex Peltier was charging in, had a sinking line drive just tip off the end of his glove. That play was originally ruled an error, got overturned to a hit. So if that wasn't overturned, we'd be sitting at 8 errors right now. That off-speed pitch misses inside. The Utah Ute Sakai Hawkins ahead in the count 2-0. But 4 errors for the Bethesda Big Train defensively. Ketchum, another deep breath, kicks and fires. Fastball misses high, 3-0 on Hawkins.
Ketchum maybe a little rattled by that error. The 4 errors, they had made 5 in the first 7 games, but game 8, it's been a bugaboo. 4 errors made in 5.1 innings.
And that was one of the things we talked about, that the Big Train had been doing well so far. Hawkins dancing with a bunt shown, pulls it back for a strike. A lot of players will try to show a bunt on 3-0 to try to ensure that that 4th ball gets thrown to them.
Ketchum doing a good job not throwing that 4th ball, keeping himself in the at-bat.
3-1, 1 out, runner on second. Cropdusters trail by a run in the top half of the 6th. Ketchum fires, popped up in the air towards shallow right. Ranging back is Corbin, and he makes the catch over his shoulder for the 2nd out.
Good range by Corbin off the bat. That looked like it was going to be a tough play, but Parker Corbin, a great read on it and able to make the over-the-shoulder running grab look pretty easy.
So now Angel Santiago Cruz steps in. He reached on an air and later scored off a wild pitch. And he struck out in his 2nd at-bat. So 0 for 2 for him. And I'm sure a lot of these hitters who have been reaching via an air are thinking, hey, I hit that ball hard. I need to improve my batting average somehow.
It's just been a tough game for both teams in the scorer's decision column. So there has been very little benefit of the doubt given to the hitters and their batting average or the fielders and their defense.
Ground ball over to first. Gonzalez to an E. Fields it, flips to Ketchum for the out. 3-1 on the putout. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base as we head to the bottom half of the 6th. Big Train still lead by a run. Bottom half of the 6th set to start from Shirley Povich Field. 3-2 the lead for the Bethesda Big Train. Make sure you guys join us at the field tomorrow as the Bethesda Big Train take on the league-leading Southern Maryland Senators for Dinosaur Night. Eliav, what is your favorite dinosaur?
I'd have to go with a pretty basic answer of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's just something about it just screams, I don't know, like this. You're looking at a dinosaur. This is a prehistoric creature.
It screams dinosaur.
It screams dinosaur to me.
I am a fan of the Velociraptor because he can fly.
That's the pterodactyl, my guy.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You made that same mistake earlier.
I did.
When we were having this discussion.
I did, and I'm mad about that.
When you're on the call tomorrow, you better get it right.
I have the majority play-by-play as well. I have the first 3 and last 3 innings. Josh Skaronski, the Winthrop Eagle, pops one into shallow left. And over to make the play is Hawkins for the first out.
Skaronski, the victim of 2 pop-ups on the infield yesterday. Another one here today. He's been dropping the bat head a little when he's not on the ball. It's been a lot of pop-ups, fly balls, because that front shoulder or that bat head is just getting under.
Yeah, the Velociraptor's the one that can fly.
Nope.
Or the pterodactyl.
There you go.
I keep getting those. I don't know why it's those two that are confusing me. This ball popped up and foul out of play by Dylan Murphy.
I'm charging you with an error for that one.
Yeah, that's 2 errors on me so far. Tomorrow, I'll get it right tomorrow.
Okay, that's what's important.
I cannot get that wrong on Dinosaur Day. Torre and Dominico still on the mound. Has yet to give up an earned run, although he has given up a run in the 4th and the 5th inning.
And of course, Sunday is Father's Day, 10 a.m. matinee from Shirley Povich. The Big Train will take on the division-leading Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts in a rematch of an exciting 3-1 victory last Friday. Be sure to get your tickets. Buy them as a present for your dad. My dad will be in attendance.
0-2 slider just misses low to Dylan Murphy. You can get your tickets at bigtrain.org/tickets. That's bigtrain.org/tickets. 1-2 the count on Murphy. The FAU Owl awaits. Grounds one back up the middle, and Dominico gets a glove on it, keeps it in front of him, flips to first for the out. 2 quickly dead here in the 6th, as the lineup will flip over to Alex Peltier. Now, there are 4 FAU Owls on this team, and people are saying that of all the animal groups, you got fish, you got mammals, birds are the closest related to dinosaurs.
Yeah, I've heard chickens especially. Some of the other birds look a little more dinosaurish. The ostrich, for one.
Now the ostrich is a bird, but they don't fly.
Well, most dinosaurs.
You don't need. That is true. You don't need to fly to be classified as a bird. Like penguins don't fly.
Go Penguins! My high school mascot was the Penguins.
The school with no walls.
School without walls.
Over in downtown D.C.
Right on the campus of George Washington, for those of you from the area. Pretty hard to pick out if you're not looking for it. It's kind of tucked in between a bunch of George Washington buildings.
And no walls?
There are walls. It's a misnomer a little bit. Luckily, most people just refer to it as walls, which is a much more accurate description.
1-1 to Peltier takes outside. So is there a story behind why they're called the School Without Walls?
Yeah, so when it was founded back in the 1950s, I believe 1950 exactly, it was founded as kind of an alternative school where the idea was you're not spending very much time in the classroom. You're spending most of your time going on field trips, walking around the city, doing on-site learning about different parts of D.C. It's kind of shifted. It's become a magnet school. It's pretty tough to get into. They cap population at 150 per grade because of space reasons, and it does get 700 to 1,000 applications a year, and it's a little more normal in classroom learning. Although we do take our fair share of trips down to the National Mall and to various other DC historical sites.
2-2 fouled away by Peltier. So you guys are the Penguins. There was a Penguin that threw out the first pitch at the Chicago White Sox game the other day from the Brookfield Zoo in Chicago.
I sent that to some of my old teammates and said we probably have used this guy.
2-2 misses down and away. Count is full up on the ECU Pirate Alex Peltier.
Peltier already taking a walk today.
Has walked, struck out, and singled. His RBI single back in the 4th tied this game up at 2. The Big Train has since taken the lead off of a Matthew Wesley double in the 5th. Payoff is chopped foul, and Peltier locked in a battle with Torre and Dominico, who is looking for his first 1-2-3 inning. It was Ryan O'Bourne for 3 innings to start the game for the Cropdusters, and now in Dominico, 1 out away from his 3rd complete inning. We'll see if he goes out for the 7th or not. Payoff driven high in the air, deep towards left center field. 2 fielders going back on it, and this ball kicks high off the wall. Peltier up to second, and he will stay there with a 2-out double.
First extra base hit of the season for Alex Peltier comes up just short of a solo shot off the bat, I thought that had a chance. Both outfielders didn't look like they were even trying to make a play on it, and the ball comes up just a few feet short. With the way that was arcing, it did bounce at the base of the fence and not high off the wall, but maybe 10 more feet, and that gets over the raised outfield wall out in left center. But regardless, Peltier now in scoring position with his speed. Anything that gets down for a base hit in the outfield, he is 100% scoring.
2 dead and a runner on second in the bottom half of the 6th. Brennan Wright looking for an insurance run to get the big train up. By 2 runs, he takes down and away from Indominico. Indominico in danger of surrendering his first earned run, as the errors have been the story of this game. 2 runs on 2 hits, 3 errors for the Cropdusters. 3 runs on 6 hits, 4 errors for the big train. Indominico will step off and have a meeting with his catcher, Redden.
Not just the first earned run surrendered by Indominico, but by any pitcher in this game.
That is right.
Jack Ketchum surrendered 2 unearned runs back in the 2nd inning for the big train. And in that 1st inning, the starter Ryan O'Born surrendered an unearned run after a pop-up into left field was dropped.
And then it was an unearned run in the 4th after a misplay by the third baseman Santiago Cruz. And then an unearned run in the 5th after a misplay by the first baseman Stalker. Wright works lefty-lefty against Indominico. Ahead in the count 1-0. Takes down and in the count now 2-0.
Brennan Wright, some pretty major reverse splits coming into today. Hit .417 in his at-bats against lefties, just .167 against righties. He was retired twice retired once, got a hit off of the righty O'Born. His one at-bat against the lefty, a line out to shortstop.
With a base open, Indominico is working around the South Alabama commit, Brennan Wright. He does have a base open, but I'm not sure if you want 2 guys on for Peyton Steele. Down and into right, he does take the walk, and now Steele will work with 2 on.
Steele's had a tough day so far. Pair of strikeouts, pop-up foul along the first baseline, handled by Austin Stalker at first. That might do it for Indominico. He's going to come 1 out shy, if they do in fact make a change, of finishing 3 innings against the big train for the 2nd consecutive outing.
The Cropdusters call the infield together. Now Steele is 2 for 6 so far against left-handed pitching. He's 2 for 5 so far against right-handed pitching.
Pretty even split. Small sample size, just playing his 4th game. Took him a while to get here from the University of Alabama. They were in the NCAA Regional, got sent home, and Steele showed up to the game on Saturday at Gaithersburg, was not in uniform, made his first appearance on Sunday here at Povich, picked up 2 doubles, 3 runs scored, and then has been in the lineup ever since.
And he has hit well enough to move up to the 3-hole. That's where John Martinez was hitting for the most part, but he is still nursing a knee injury after getting hit by a pitch. This is the 2nd game he will have missed.
Dominico will get the chance to finish this inning.
Steele takes a fastball just outside for a ball.
Got to imagine with the dangerous Panette on deck, this is probably Indominico's last hitter one way or another, whether he reaches or finishes the inning.
Yeah, if you don't want to see Steele with 2 runners on, you really don't want to see Panette with the bases loaded. Steele takes a backdoor slider for a strike. And Panette already with a grand slam on the year. In the first game of the season, hit a game-tying grand slam in the 8th against the D.C. Grays.
Now, one of just 3 hits for the big train out of 16 tries with the bases loaded. That's 188. But they've driven in a ton of runs, partially thanks to their league-leading 10 sack flies.
Ground ball up the middle, it's through for a hit. Windmill at third for Peltier. The throw will come into the shortstop spot to Hawkins. Peltier scores. 3 straight runners reach after 2 outs for Indominico, and the big train added another run. It's 4-2.
That first earned run crosses the plate. This time, all a 2-out rally. We saw this yesterday. The big train scored 6 in the 4th inning, and all runners reached with 2 outs. The first 2 men in that inning were retired, and then 8 straight reached for the big train. Maybe starting to spark a similar rally here. They've put 3 on in a row.
So now here is Panette with 2 runners on. He pops one high in the air on the infield. Major league pop-up. Fry, the second baseman, is over. He calls everybody off and makes the catch. 1 run, 1 earned run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. Ilyav will have the play-by-play for the late innings when we come back. Big Train lead 4-2.
Top of the 7th here at Shirley Povich Field. A new arm on the mound is Connor Lehman. Struggled in his Big Train debut against Gaithersburg on Saturday. Allowed 5 earned runs in just 1 inning of work. Walked 3, allowed 3 hits, struck out 2. Ended up allowing a 4-run lead to turn into a 1-run deficit in the bottom of the 6th in that game. The Big Train would go on to lose 11-10.
Strong outing for Cole Ketchum, however. 4 1/3, 1 hit, no runs, no earned. 1 walk to 6 strikeouts. I'm sure they were planning on having him go in the middle innings and giving his brother Jack the first 3, although we've mentioned he did leave with an injury. But Cole Ketchum has mowed through the middle of this game for the Big Train.
Like to point out that the 1 hit is actually no hits because the second hit on the board, confusingly, was charged to Jack Ketchum. First pitch fouled back on the retroactive reversal of a single into center field.
You're right. I got that wrong.
I had it in my scorebook as 1 hit for Ketchum, so I was going to write 1 for Cole, or one for Jack, so I was going to write 1 for Cole, but I realized that the second one did come against Jack. So a hitless outing for Cole Ketchum. Connor Lehman even in the count 1-1 against the right-handed Parker Redden catching today. On the year, he is 0 for 10. Struck out 7 times. Has not reached base, but he's 1 ball away from doing so here. Connor Lehman struggled with control on Saturday, behind 3-1.
Yeah, he switches off catching duties with Tyler Cook, who reached twice against the Big Train with 2 walks the first time these two played.
Ball 4 to Parker Redden. He's on for the first time this year. Lehman picking up where he left off on Saturday's game. His stuff looks pretty good out of the hand. The fastball running up into the lower 90s, 92 on that last pitch. Problem was locating in the zone. He struggled with mightily in that game. First pitch to the 9-hitter, Andrew Kell, is high. So 5 balls on 6 pitches so far.
And I think it's paramount here that you don't let the 9-hitter Kell reach. With a 2-run lead, you really don't want to see the 8 and 9 hitters getting on for the top of the order.
Lehman walked the first 2 he faced in that game on Saturday. Proceeded to strike out the 3rd batter and retire the 4th on a sac fly, and then The next 4 reached, 3 on hits, 1 on a walk. That ended up pushing across 5. A lead that was 8-4 Big Train. They had rallied back from 4-1, relinquished to make it 9-8. Did not take the loss as they tied it in the top half, but the team ended up losing. Check down to first, did not go. Now Andrew Kell ahead in the count 2-1. Salisbury product, 2024 consensus second-team All-American at the Division III level. He was the perfect game D3 Player of the Year that year. Regressed slightly this past year, but still put up a very solid season. An 858 OPS. Ball 3 is high, and Lehman in danger of walking the first 2.
There is action in the Cropduster pen, a lefty and a righty getting some throwing down. So I'd imagine in Dominico's day we'll be done come the bottom half of the 7th after we stretch.
Dominico on the hook for the loss at the moment. Lehman's 3-1, runs high. The first 2 have reached for the Cropdusters in base-on-balls fashion. Dylan Murphy out to talk to Lehman, who's now walked 5 batters in 1+ innings pitched. Lehman out of the University of Alabama. First name is William, but goes by Connor. Pitched 9 times out of the bullpen for the Crimson Tide. Allowed a 14.54 ERA across 4 1/3 innings pitched. The whip stood at 2.54, so the bases were loaded more often than not against Lehman.
And he's getting a meeting with pitching coach Craig Lopez. There is some action down in the Bethesda bullpen. A few people are starting to get warm. I'd imagine they'd like to see Lehman finish this inning, but this is a very high leverage spot now with 2 on and nobody out. The go-ahead run coming up to the plate here in the late innings.
Pitching coach Craig Lopez, first season with the Big Train, spent 10 years as the pitching coach for the now defunct Baltimore Redbirds. Connor Lehman looking to bounce back against the top of the order.
I think he's been here more than 1 year. I think this is like his 8th year.
Oh, excuse me then. I'm in my notes first season, but certainly could have made a mistake there. Up to bat is Aiden Fry. Second baseman squares around a bunt. Gonzalez charging hard. Over to cover first is Corbin. And he stretches with the off foot, but still gets the out. Great play from Emilio Gonzalez.
Yeah, that's some range over there from your first baseman coming all the way down to field a ball that was on the third base side of the mound, turned around and threw a rocket over to first. When he turned to throw, in my mind I was thinking keep that one in your pocket because I didn't think he was going to get Fry down at first, but Gonzalez with a seed over to first gets the out. But that's a great play from the Cropdusters as well, playing small ball, getting the tying run into scoring position.
Fry credited with a sac bunt. Brian Scott to the plate, 2 runners in scoring position with the Cropdusters trailing by 2. Single could tie the game. Emilio Gonzalez at first on the cut of the infield, the rest of the infield back in their normal positions.
I think this is a spot where you do go to first if there is a ground ball on the infield because you can get to the 2 outs and still have the lead. If this was a 4-3 game, I think you consider moving the entire infield in.
Looks like Gonzalez is set to come home. Everyone else looks like they may go first. Strike 2 from Lehman on the inside corner. Very good spot on the 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Lehman 1 strike away. He kicks, he deals, and he gets a soft ground ball towards second. Corbin only has 1 play. It's at first. The runner is retired, but 1 run does come around to score. Brian Scott with an RBI ground out. And the score is cut to 1. It's 4-3.
Yeah, yet again another earned run in this game after the first 5 were unearned. But a big at-bat here for Rowan Klein. Runner at third, 2 outs. Could tie this game up for the Cropdusters. Lehman trying to dig deep and keep this lead.
Runner on third, 2 away. Rowan Klein sees a 94-mile-an-hour fastball for strike 1. Lehman, the hard-throwing lefty. Klein 0 for 3 today. He struck out. He's grounded into a double play. And he's grounded into a fielder's choice up the middle. That pitch right around the edge of the zone, but called a ball. Lefty on lefty. Popped up on the infield. Corbin takes charge. He's coming in. On the cut of the dirt, he makes the grab to finish the top half of the 7th. Cropdusters get one back. They're on the board for the first time since the 2nd inning, but the Big Train still lead 4-3. We stretch here at Shirley Povich Field. Torre and Domenico's day is done. A little bit of a hard luck on the hook for the loss at the moment. Game obviously far from over, just 1-run deficit for the Cropdusters. And Domenico went 3 full innings, allowed 4 hits, 3 runs, just 1 of them earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. On now for Olney is number 38, Gavin Lill, the Millersville University product, redshirt sophomore out of Westchester, Pennsylvania. He's appeared twice this season. He's allowed 1 earned run across 3.2 innings pitched, has a win in his back pocket. Pitched once against the Big Train last Thursday, 2 innings pitched, a hit, an earned run, and a walk allowed.
Yeah, they used him in a mop-up role with the Big Train already down 6 runs in that game. Was able to clean things up, but now he's in a more pressure spot, having to keep this deficit at 1 in the late innings.
Emilio Gonzalez will get first dibs on Gavin Lill. Lefty still looking for his first hit today. He's reached twice on an error, grounded out into a double play in the 3rd. Looking to keep his hit streak alive. Probably not going to pick up 3 hits in today's game.
No, but he has reached on 2 errors, and I believe at least one of them should have been a hit.
Yeah, still
swinging the bat well.
Reached in the 5th on a hard ground ball to first base. Scored an error. Stole a base. Came around to score on a Matt Wesley RBI double. He is ahead 2-1 after fouling that pitch off towards the backstop.
When Gonzalez is seeing the ball well, he pulls a lot of stuff that's hard, and most of the time it's on the ground or a line drive. Not one to really pop up on the infield too much.
Ball 3 gets all the way to the backstop. And Gavin Lill a little wild to start his day off. Cropdusters have been efficient today. 3 runs scored on just 2 hits. Beneficiary of 4 Big Train errors as well. Big Train have 4 runs on 7 hits. They've stranded 10 batters through 6 innings. Ball 4 again to the backstop. Emilio Gonzalez on for the 3rd time today, this time via the walk.
And this time it'll actually help his on-base percentage, but Gavin Lill with multiple balls going to the backstop in his in the first batter he faces. Not really a great sign for the reliever you just brought out for the late innings.
Matt Wesley to the dish. Doubled home Gonzalez last time he was up. That was his third double this season, which ties him for the league lead. He's got a triple to his name as well. Gonzalez stole second when he was on first in the fifth. Strike one to Wesley. Gonzalez staying put. Just Gonzalez's second stolen base of the season. All of last year, he did not swipe a bag. Last year with the big train, I should specify, not during his spring season. 0-1 to Wesley. At the knees, strike two.
And he crushed a double in his fifth inning, which gave the big train the lead 3-2.
The last time the big train and the Cropdusters met, the big train did not have an extra base hit. Today, two doubles, one of them an RBI double, and Peltier came around to score after his. So two big doubles for the big train, who lead the league in extra base hits. They've got 20 coming in, so 22 now. Only 3 extra base hits in their first 3 games. They're up to 19 across the last 5. 1-2 to Wesley. Bounced slowly towards second base. Fry coming in. Evades his glove. Gonzalez doesn't see the ball. Now takes off for third. And he'll haul in standing up. Fry misread the spin on that ball and overran it towards the middle of the field. And it skips under his glove. We'll see what the scoring is on that. I bet that's ruled an error as well. It is. So 4 errors for either team, and Matt Wesley aboard with an E4.
Yeah, in that play, I feel like part of the reason he made that error is because he had Emilio Gonzalez over there at 6'3", running right at him. I feel like that's part of the reason he maybe took a step to the side to avoid hitting Gonzalez, and I believe that's what the Olney coaching staff is talking about right now.
Yeah, they're out to talk to the field umpire and maybe request a discussion about an obstruction by, or I guess a runner's interference.
Gonzalez never touched him, though.
No, it didn't touch him, didn't touch the ball, and stayed in his line.
If Fry just runs where he was and gets ran over by Gonzalez, then you're seeing an obstruction call.
You can't, with Gonzalez, didn't make contact with the ball, the fielder, and stayed in his line towards second. You're never going to get that call. Runners on the corners, nobody out. Parker Corbin to the plate to take on Gavin Lill, who is in a pressure situation early in his outing.
And if you're Gavin Lill, I think you really have to pitch to the strikeout here against Corbin, because if you do get the strikeout, a double play could end the inning, but any ball in play here should score that run from third, even if it is a double play.
Corbin, 6 strikeouts this season. He's been on twice today, a single and a walk. Quickly behind 0-2. He fouls one off to the right side, left side.
Yeah, I think these next 2 pitches are going to be trying to get Corbin to chase. I think you're going to see some stuff in the dirt or pretty far outside. I don't think you're going to see anything near the plate these next 2 pitches. Because once you get to 2-2, then you got to go back and attack.
0-2 from Lill. Swing and a miss from Corbin. He goes down swinging. Wesley takes second on a delayed steal, so runner moves over, but a big first out for Gavin Lill.
See, and he does get the strikeout, but Wesley knew that nothing was going to come near the zone, and he picked a perfect pitch to go on towards second, gets the stolen base, so now, even after Corbin does strike out, you're still on a spot where you would need another strikeout to feel in really good shape if you're Lill. And that's just great IQ from Wesley over at first.
Skoronsky to the dish. 2 on, 1 out for the big lefty out of Winthrop. He's 1 for 3 today. He singled, struck out, and popped up to short his last time up. He is 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position coming into today. Big swing and a miss, and Lill is ahead of the second consecutive batter, 0-2.
And now you see the Cropduster infield moving all to the edge of the grass. Anything on the ground, their first look is going to be at Gonzalez coming from third.
Cropdusters trying not to give up that insurance run. Big Train have ducks on the pond. It's Josh Skoronsky. who takes ball one just high.
And if you're Skaronski here, you got to get really defensive with your swing because with the infield pulled in, there's just so much less range for them to go, so you just have to put a ball in play anywhere.
And even one of his pop-ups that he's been doing a lot lately might have a chance to drop. Curveball leaves it high.
And he's really choked up on the bat. He's leaving about an inch above the knob with where his hands are placed, so he knows that.
Skaronski hunting contact. Struck out today, his 8th of the year. He's appeared in 7 games. 2-2 from Lil. Big pitch here. And buries a fastball at 89 miles an hour. So the count runs full. First base is unoccupied. Dylan Murphy, the catcher, stands on deck. He has reached on an error, does not have a hit today. Skaronski, though, trying to drive the runners in on his own. Full count, 1 out. Lil's delivery is fouled off the foot of Skaronski.
And these two are locked in a battle. These are the type of at-bats you love to see as just a fan of the game. Skaronski knows he has to put something in play somewhere. Lil knows that he can't allow that, or really a walk. I mean, he could allow a walk, but you don't want the bases loaded here. Just a big pressure at-bat. The types of at-bats and matchups you love to see.
Lil's offering, fouled away once again. Eighth pitch of the at-bat is imminent. Big Train lead 4-3. It's the bottom of the 7th. Runners on second and third, 1 away. Left fielder Skaronski stands tall. Full count, bounced foul once again. Skaronski's fouled off 3 consecutive pitches.
Yeah, and you're in a spot also where Lil can't really serve anything up over the middle of the plate to allow the contact, but also Skaronski's in a spot where he has to protect with the 2 strikes.
Big Train have a league-leading 10 sac flies on the season. Fly ball to the outfield could score the runner. Full count is lined sharply but foul. And the next offering will be the 10th of the at-bat.
Yeah, Lil tried to sneak an off-speed pitch at him. That pitch came in the mid-70s. Skaronski a little bit early on that, but I think he saw that pretty well out of the hand. Even though he did pull it foul, I don't think you're going to see Lil go back to that pitch.
Payoff pitch for the 5th time is grounded towards short. Gonzalez headed for home. The throw comes in, and Gonzalez is caught in a pickle. Running back to third. The tag is applied by the third baseman, Santiago Cruz, and a huge second out. An elite defensive play by Zakai Hawkins at shortstop.
A nice 6-2-5 put out for the Cropdusters. I think on that one, I think that's a situation where if you're Gonzalez, I think you got to wait and see if that throw goes to first. Because that ball was hit pretty hard by Skaronski, but perfectly placed by Hawkins. He was just in the right spot with the infield in. I think that's a play where you sit with a decent lead off a third and then wait and see if the guy throws to first. I don't hate leaving on contact because that run is so important. It's a tough spot for a runner on third in that spot.
Absolutely. In that situation, usually you're coached either go on contact or make a decision after the ball's hit. Looked like Gonzalez was going on contact because if he's making that decision, he's probably heading back to third. That ball was not hit. That ball was hit right at Hawkins and pretty hard enough that he never really had a chance at scoring. Didn't even try to slide in safely. Elected to get himself caught in a pickle.
Well, sometimes if you keep yourself in a pickle long enough, you can advance the other runners that are on base.
Both runners stayed where they were. So Dylan Murphy will get a chance to hit. 1-1 count, 2 away. Murphy this season is 1 for 9 with runners on base and 3 for 5 with the bases empty. Looking to change that trajectory here. 2 on, 2 out. Bottom of the 7th. Big Train still lead by 1. 1-1 to Murphy. Curveball above the zone.
Yeah, and if you're Lil, you've had just a crazy inning, a walk, a strikeout, a reached on air, a crazy rundown play. You want to retire the 9-hitter and get out of this with no runs. You don't want this lineup to flip over to Peltier.
2-1 to Murphy is skied into left field. Klein Went back, now coming in on it, and leans, but makes the final out of the 7th inning. And the Big Train strand 2. That's 12 left on in 7 innings. For the home team, they still lead 4-3. Connor Lehman out for his 2nd inning of work. It's the top of the 8th. The Olney Cropdusters looking to mount a comeback. Trailed 4-2. They picked up 1 in the 7th. And it's Mr. Cropduster, Jimmy Kirk, who will step to the plate for the first batter of the 8th inning. Elliot Brooks-Rubin alongside me is Quincy Bell. And it's been a fun game, error-filled. 8 errors, 9 hits in this one. 7 runs to show for it. Jimmy Kirk's first swing is lined into center field. The first offering from Lehman is a base hit.
Yeah, we were talking about how early in the game the Cropdusters were doing a lot of first pitch swinging, attacking early in counts. Wasn't really working that much for them, but that time Kirk with a great pitch to swing at, because Lehman, 2 walks to start off the last inning, allowed a run to score because of it. Kind of figuring he was going to try to get me over to start this inning, attacked it, and the Cropdusters have the tying run on.
Austin Stalker to the plate. Ball 1 well off the plate, outside. Stalker today had a single that was originally scored an error, eventually overturned. Came around to score on that, stole a base. Reached on an E5 in the 6th. Big swing and a miss. Count is even at 1. Lehman looking to pick up his first hold of the season. If he can work out of this one, we'll see Macy Owen Stewart, who came on for the save against the Thunderbolts. Don't want to speculate, but he's been used in a couple of high-leverage situations this year.
Yeah, they used him against the DC Grays after they gave up the lead 12-11. They put him in the 9th, had runners on, got out of the inning.
And came on for a 2-out, 5-pitch save. The only save of the season for the Thunderbolts, or for the Big Train thus far against the Thunderbolts. 1-2 from Lehman. Skips off the glove of Murphy. Kirk hustles down to second. Murphy charging up the first baseline. Able to corral it. Kirk not much speed over there at second. Content with 1 base.
And now I think, well, with 2 strikes, I don't know, but Stalker's in a tough spot lefty-lefty against a guy that throws as hard as Lehman. I don't know if they're going to continue to have him bunt, but getting a guy to third with 1 out could be huge. This is like the one time I think you may see a guy square with 2 strikes.
2-2 from Lehman. He delivers high for ball 3.
I wasn't predicting him to square. I was
Just
just
had to
saying
clarify
it was a
that.
possibility. It was a possibility that he squares there. But now he's in danger of getting the walk and putting the go-ahead run on first.
Full count to Stalker. Line sharply into center field. Peltier going back and makes the grab. Kirk has to hold at second.
Yeah, I was talking about how Stalker not in a favorable matchup. Well, he hammered that ball straight through to center field, but right at Peltier. A little bit of luck there for Lehman, but one out runner on second for Hawkins.
Fully into the night here at Shirley Povich Field, home of your Bethesda Big Train. The third of 22 home games this season, and the first of 3 on this homestand. Line drive slowly rolls its way to Corbin, who fires on to first for the second out.
Yeah, and we've talked at length about how these teams have had a rough time fielding today, but a good job there from Corbin making a strong throw to first to get Hawkins, who is probably, maybe other than Aiden Fry, the fastest Cropduster on the team. Gets the out, and it's going to take a hit to score Kirk from third up to Santiago Cruz, who has been cold today and on the season.
On hell, Santiago Cruz 0 for 3 today, did score on, after reaching on an error, scored on a wild pitch. Strike one to Santiago Cruz, who has just 1 hit in 13 at-bats this year. 1 run driven in. Struck out 3 times, including once today against Cole Ketchum. Check swing and a called strike 2.
And it is paramount here that Lima does not let anything get to the backstop. I wouldn't be messing around with any off-speed stuff low in the zone. Come with the high heat.
0-2 from Lehman, looking to get out of a jam. Grounded towards second. Corbin bobbles it, picks it up, makes the throw, and it's in time! Parker Corbin sticks with it and makes the third out of the 8th inning. Big Train still lead 4-3. Jimmy Kirk cannot cross the plate. The lineup will hit for the 5th time today. It's Peltier, Wright, and Steele. They'll face Gavin Lill on for his 2nd inning of work. An eventful 1st inning. Had 2nd and 3rd 1 out, able to get a 6-2-5 rundown to retire Emilio Gonzalez, and got out of the inning with an F7 from Dylan Murphy.
Yeah, and what an eventful last half inning that was for the Big Train. Allowed a runner to get to third, but back-to-back groundouts gets them out of the inning. They're up 4-3. With the way this game has gone, with all the goofy errors and everything that's been going on, Eliav, a run here would be huge to make this a 2-run game going into the 9th.
Nothing better than an insurance run. Peltier 2 for 3 today. He's walked, so he's been on 3 times. Scored 2 of the 4 Big Train runs, once in the 4th, once in the 6th. Drove in 1 as well. So he's had the most productive day of any Big Train hitter. Count is even at 1 for the Big Train center fielder. Gavin Lill chicken wings his arm out, now delivers, and Peltier goes the other way. It's down the line for a base hit. Peltier rounding first. He's headed for second. a little hesitation and now slides in safely for his second double of the game.
Yeah, the only thing he really didn't provide to the big train in his first couple games was the power. Well, hello to back-to-back doubles for Alex Peltier. And now I think with how huge a second run would be, I think there's a chance you see Wright lay down a bunt here, get him to third.
Wouldn't be surprised. Wright has squared around a couple times to bunt, gotten one down successfully this season, and has attempted a few times. Peltier also has swiped third base twice. So maybe a situation where he just takes off if he can find a good pitch to go on. Gavin Lill facing traffic once again.
There it is.
His first pitch, Wright does square down and gets the butt down. It's a good one. Fielded and thrown on to first. That was read in behind the dish. And Peltier over to third. So a successful sac bunt for Brendan Wright the second time this season.
Yeah, that's this second run, or to get the lead up to 2 is so huge right now. I think so huge. So I love the decision to drop the sac bunt down.
Peyton Steele to the dish. He's 1 for 4. Drove in Peltier back in the 6th. An RBI single with 2 outs. Now hitting with 1 out. Infield on the cut once again, trying to prevent that run from scoring. Peltier a little more challenging to cut down on a ground ball than Gonzalez was.
Yeah, Gonzalez got caught in a rundown. Peltier probably with a strong secondary lead on anything here. Third baseman Santiago Cruz not really near the bag, so he can get a very big lead and I think go on contact.
There is contact as a fly ball into right field. Should be deep enough. Catch is made in right by Cal. Peltier coming to the plate. The throw gets away from the catcher Redden, and a sac fly for Peyton Steele. The big train lead is 2. A huge insurance run for the home team.
And that's how you do it after a leadoff double. Sac bunt, sac fly. Get those other 2 bases. Get the run. Beautifully executed small ball from the big train.
Peyton Steele picks up the RBI. That is his 6th of the season in 4 games. 7th of the season in 4 games. And Logan Panette steps to the plate. There's one guy who can provide an insurance run all by himself. It's this guy right here. 3 home runs on the year. 1 in each of the home games thus far. In danger of losing his 7-game hitting streak. He's got at least 1 hit in every game this season. Has been on base twice, so the on-base streak continues. But a hit here, I'm sure you'd be happy with. Slow ground ball first base. Stalker catches, flips on to first, and a twisting Lil makes the grab for the 3rd out. An awkward play and a collision between Panette and the pitcher for the Cropdusters. But Panette is retired for the 3rd time today, but not before the big train pick up a run. It's a Peltier double, a right bunt, and a Steele sac fly. We go to the 9th. Big train protecting a 2-run lead. Kide Atatui on for the save. Connor Lehman bounces back from 2 walks to earn a 2-inning hold. Allows 1 earned run, does not strike anyone out. But the Big Train lead by 2 after the 8th inning insurance run. Alex Peltier a double, Peyton Steele a sac fly, and the Cropdusters need to make up ground against the left-handed Atatui.
Yeah, Atatui has appeared once this year. It was at Silver Spring when the Big Train won their first game, pitched 3 innings, only gave up 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned. 4 strikeouts to only 2 walks. You thought it would be Owen Stewart coming in for the save. He was used in a mop-up role against the DC Grays, so it's up to the FAU Owl Atatui to end this game.
First pitch is low from Atatui. Atatui earned the win in that game. Was part of the only other close win for the Big Train this season. They won that game 3-1. The other 2 games that have been within even 6 runs were 2 one-run losses. The Big Train in a rare close game situation, with the lead, I should say.
Yeah, they lost to Gaithersburg 11-10, lost to the Grays 11-12, and then lost to these Cropdusters 10-4. That was their biggest loss, but the wins, it was 15-3 against Alexandria, 21-8 the second time against DC, and then that 3-1 win against Silver Spring.
And 14-4 against the Braves. So margins of 10, 12, and 13 besides the 2-run win against the T-Bolts. Atatui's first 3 pitches all missed the zone. And a ball here would bring the tying run to the plate.
And again, it's the 8, 9, and 1 for the Cropdusters. You really don't want to see the 8 or 9 hitters reach with the top of the order looming.
Ball 4 to Parker Redden. He has a leadoff walk for his 2nd consecutive plate appearance. Came around to score in the 7th. That was the 1 run allowed by Lehman. Kell, the 9-hitter, steps to the plate. He also walked in that inning. Would imagine if he can earn his way on base, we may see a similar situation. Last time in the 7th, Kell walked, and Fry laid down a bunt to put 2 in scoring position. 1 came around to score in that inning. Atatui looking to keep 2 off the base. First pitch to Kell is a strike, outside corner.
And the Cropdusters have only been able to muster 3 lowly hits today. 1 from Scott, 1 from Kirk, and 1 from Stalker.
Second offering to Kell is strike 2. Kell just 1 for 12 on the season. He's walked 5 times and been hit by a pitch, so he's been on base a fair amount. Still looking for that big swing as 1 hit a single. He's stolen 2 bags, but will be running behind the catcher Redden. 0-2 from Atatui. Well off the plate. Pops out of Murphy's mitt, but doesn't get far enough away for Redden to take off.
Yeah, Redden, you mentioned, doesn't have a lot of speed at first being a catcher, but I think even if you do have speed at first, that's not a great place to go because you need 2 runs to tie the game. No sense risking getting thrown out if you're only the run to be down 1.
Atatui takes a deep breath. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Kell is down on strikes, and there's 1 away in the 9th.
Beautiful backdoor slider. Completely dropped the door off of Kell. Big speed difference, too. 75 on the slider when Atatui can run the fastball up near 90. Just a beautiful pitch right there.
Aiden Fry to the dish. The Delaware Blue Hen was hit by a pitch in the first. Couple of strikeouts. A sac bunt last time he batted. Atatui, before he will face Fry, will pick off towards first base. Redden unlikely to be going anywhere here. Tying run at the dish. Aiden Fry this season has 2 doubles, no home runs. Did not homer with the Blue Hens this year in 22 appearances. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, I think if you're Atatui, the focus just has to be on the batter. I wouldn't even worry about Redden at first. Not a steal threat, and that run ultimately doesn't matter if you can get the batter out.
0-1 from Atatui. A slow bender at 74 gets a swing and a miss.
Yeah, he has great speed differentials. You can talk about how fast you throw or how well you locate. Speed differentials is really what can keep hitters completely off balance, and Atatui has done that better than most, if not all, of the Big Train pitchers.
0-2 from Atatui. Wave and a miss from Aiden Fry. Atatui struck out back-to-back hitters. The Big Train are 1 out away from their 4th consecutive victory.
Yeah, and after seeing a 75-mile-an-hour slider, that 89-mile-an-hour fastball probably looked like 102 to Aiden Fry.
Kide Atatui on for the second save opportunity for the Big Train. Big Train looking to move to 5-3. First pitch is a strike on the outside corner, caught the black.
And looking to win 5-3 as well. 1 out away they are.
The 0-1 from Atatui. Another swing and a miss, and he's ahead 0-2 for the third consecutive hitter. Struck out Kell on 4 pitches. Struck out Fry on 3. Brian Scott in an 0-2 hole. Kide Atatui, the FAU Owl. 0-2, 2 outs. He kicks, he deals, he strikes him out. Kide Atatui earns the save. The Big Train win 5-3, and they move to 5-3. That's 4 in a row for the boys in green. And they will move, or have a chance to move to first place. The Thunderbolts game not yet over, but at worst, they will own second place in the North Division and will take on the league-leading Southern Maryland Senators tomorrow. Quincy, a pitcher's duel today with pretty poor defense behind them. Just 3 earned runs scored in this one, but the Big Train come out on top.
You know, great teams can win a game in multiple ways. You know, sometimes you're going to have to win a game 2-1. Sometimes you're going to have to win a game 11-10. And sometimes you're going to have to win a game 5-3 when there are 8 errors combined with both teams. Ultimately, they don't ask how, they ask how many, and it's 5 for the Big Train so far this season as they move into sole possession of second place and maybe first, depending on what the Thunderbolts do. They currently have a 1-run lead on Gaithersburg. It's 9-8.
Thunderbolts lead 9-8 in the 8th against Gaithersburg, currently sitting at last in the North Division. But the Big Train, at this point in the season, they're less worried about the standings than how well they're playing. And right now, they are the hottest team in this league. 4 wins in a row. It was all offense the last couple of days. Today, the offense was limited by this very good Cropduster pitching staff. Just the 5 runs, but they were able to shut down the bats. It was 2 unearned runs scored against Jack Ketchum. Cole Ketchum will earn the win for 4.1 hitless, scoreless innings in relief, replacing his younger brother who went out with an injury. Connor Lehman picks up a 2-inning hold. Kide Atatui earns his first save of the year. Big Train take it 5-3. They had 8 hits, 4 errors. They stranded 12. For the Cropdusters, 3 runs on 3 hits. They made 4 errors of their own, and they stranded 8 in this one. Big Train come out on top 5-3. Quincy, any final thoughts?
I mean, great win. That's now 4 in a row after a slow 1-3 start. All their players are here. All their pitchers have gotten reps. And I think the league-leading Southern Maryland Senators might be in trouble tomorrow.
First pitch tomorrow from Shirley Povich Field will be at 7 p.m. Quincy and Jackson on the call. The Big Train win their 4th straight. They're 5-3. They have 2 more games at home tomorrow against Southern Maryland. Sunday is Father's Day against the Thunderbolts. A big 2 games against the top 2 teams in the league. But for now, they're going to go home and enjoy this win. For Quincy Bell, Gibson Hurd, our producer, and everyone else who makes this thing run, my name is Eliot Brooks Rubin. Have a nice night.